welcome to Conversations with Sarah. I'm Sarah Reddan, creator of the SRTT Self-Care Club. Thank you for joining us today. You can find me on most social media platforms as SRTT Self-Care. And if you connect with me on Facebook, you can join me in my Facebook group for live recordings. Today, I'm joined by Femke Williams from Rosewood Wellbeing. And we're going to have a chat about kind of holistic healing, energy, all sorts of things, whatever comes up. Let's see where we go with things. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, thank you for having me.
That's my pleasure. So for people who don't know you, if you'd like to introduce a little bit about yourself, your business, what it is that you do, and then we can have a little chat.
Okay, yeah, so hello everyone. I am Femke. I was born and I grew up in the Netherlands. And yeah, had a loving family, everything kind of normal, as they say, you know, no kind of real trauma or negative experiences, loved school, you know, did everything kind of mainstream, and then went on to train as a nurse. As I wanted to do something in healthcare. Wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do, but you know, hands-on stuff, helping people in healthcare, basically to do with health and well-being. So I thought nursing is great because it's like very general. From there, you can go into any kind of direction as well. So see where it's going to take me. So I did my nursing training, and the great thing about this school was that they gave you the opportunity to go abroad to do one of your experiences. So I took the opportunity because I did want a bit more excitement in my life and always loved traveling and always loved other cultures. So I actually went to Africa and worked in a hospital there for 4.5 months. Really wonderful with the fellow students. We had a wonderful experience, just really seeing these different cultures and how to make do with you know, with what you have and making it work and just living with the community. And it was fantastic. So when I came back, I really wanted to do something with health promotion and health education, maybe something with mother and child clinics, something kind of in that direction. So after my nursing training, I went on to do health promotion and health education at university, still in the Netherlands. And again, this university gave the opportunity to go abroad to do an internship and work with like a health educational program. And so I went to South America this time, and I went on my own. So that was kind of a big thing, really. I was only 23. So yeah, that was back in 1997.
What a fantastic opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. I worked with this primary healthcare program from UNESCO and the World Health Organization. It was called Facts for Life, and I was introducing it within primary schools. Yeah, really, really lovely way of doing things, kind of got creative with the children as well, and just really integrating this program. But yes, it was also the year when things just changed dramatically for me, because there were other things involved over there, which was a relationship, which was loss and other kind of trauma, kind of negative experiences too. And yeah, there was a lot of heartache involved. So when I came back to the Netherlands, I had quite a few tough decisions to make, you know, to decide, what am I going to do? Am I going to go back there? Are we going to make this work? And there were just so many different things involved and different culture as well. And we just decided that it wasn't going to work. So I had to leave that, and obviously stayed in the Netherlands, finished my education in health sciences, in health promotion, and ended up in clinical trial research. So that was a whole kind of different direction. And I didn't feel entirely happy there because I wanted to work in the field and I wanted to really do the hands-on work with people in health and well-being. So the year after, I decided, right, you know, I am where I am, I'm doing a job, I'm earning good money, but something doesn't feel right here. It's not where I want to be. So what do I want? So that, you know, that's when you have this thing, if you're feeling, you know, you're not right inside your own body, you know, you can talk about these experiences and all this stuff that happened, you know, and you move on. But I felt that there was something there still in my energy body, I suppose. It's not, there was something I wasn't releasing, you know, and I was like, I need to choose a different way of getting rid of all this electrical charge that's there. That isn't making me feel, that it's causing me all these unexplained aches and pains and emotions, and what's going on here. So I ended up going on a holiday to Scotland with a friend, because I just wanted to be in nature. So I chose nature as a way of really reconnecting with myself, with the environment, and just helping to release all of the stuff that was churning there inside of me and I didn't know what to do with. So anyway, great experience, lovely holiday, backpacking, up in the mountains, walking. And then, of course, it happened. I met someone else. So, yeah, met someone while walking up Ben Nevis. We were both obviously hill walking at the time. And this man kind of made me decide that I was going to move to Scotland.
Oh,
so
wow.
I know.
Big change.
A very big change again. I mean, my parents were like, what now? You know, because obviously I'd had all of this stuff going on in South America. Then I'd had a year of just, you know, well, feeling more or less depressed, I suppose, with what everything was happening in my life. So then I went to Scotland. I came back and I said, oh, I've met someone. And yeah, we're going to see if we can make it work. So I moved to Scotland 5 months later, with this man, to be with him and his 2 children. He had 2 young children. They were only 3 and 5 at the time. And yeah, so gonna see if we can make that work. So went back into nursing, then went back into clinical trial research as well. Again, working there, it didn't really sit right with me, just because I wanted to work with more natural therapies. I wanted to work with prevention, you know, helping people before they get ill, or intercept a cycle of illness and disease, so that they don't end up at a stage where it's really difficult to come back from. You know, so, and working in clinical trial research and working in nursing, and just a lot to do with just dishing out the tablets, not having time to really listen to anyone. I couldn't see the whole person because I just didn't have time. So I felt kind of trapped a little bit in that system, you know, of healthcare and yeah, the pharmaceutical industry and where we were going with that. So I ended up feeling kind of burnt out with it as well. Meanwhile, I had 2 children of my own as well, got married and had 2 children of our own as well. And yeah, so again, I was like, where do I go from here? This is not where I want to be. It just doesn't feel right. I need to step away from this really well-paid job. I was in executive management, but it was draining me. I was not feeling the positive benefits as such in being paid a lot of money, but I wasn't happy.
Yeah. So what helped you make that step then, when you'd done all this training, all this traveling, all this kind of real experience, and like you're saying, you had a good job in the industry that you really wanted to be in, but you had this real sense of stuff not kind of being, I guess fulfilling is the word that I'm sat with, and it just not feeling aligned with where you really wanted to be. What happened? How did you take that step and change what you were doing to where you are now?
So I suppose when I had my first child, I was made redundant in a job in clinical trial research, then tried to get on and had kind of jobs here, there and everywhere, then ended up going back into nursing, but still not feeling, like you say, fulfilled. It wasn't really aligned with where I wanted to be, basically because I couldn't actually help people in the way that I wanted to help them. And I knew that I wanted to look more at natural therapies, working with energy as well. I just kind of felt really drawn to that. And when my kids were both school going, I decided to take up on a reflexology course.
Okay.
So I had a bit more time, you know, I was still working shifts and stuff, but yeah, I took up on this course, learned all these kind of wonderful things about the chakras and our chakra system and how we are connected to everything around us and how we can enhance our own body's healing ability, you know. And I thought, wow, why didn't I know about all of this before? And yeah, so that brought me on to really kind of tapping into that spirituality, I suppose, you know, really opening up to seeing that energy world around us and how it can help us to raise our vibration. So I went on to train in Reiki, so I could, you know, work on myself as well for my self-healing, and then to kind of work with others as well to help them raise that vibration, feel lighter, feel more able to kind of, you know, have a clearer picture of what's going on in their life and where they may need to change things, just as I had done it over the years. And I just wanted to pass that on to people. And just added on modality after modality after modality, because of course I was interested
I hear
in
that.
everything.
Yeah.
So I think for a while I ran my business as a hobby, because I obviously had a full household. I had young children at home. I had, you know, to put the dinner on the table. Family was my priority still. I was working as a nurse. I was trying to run my own business. So again, that was a bit like too much. You know, so something had to give. So I gave up my nursing job and decided to really focus on making this business work, to really help people, you know, develop their spirituality, their emotional kind of health as well, to really process and integrate their experiences, because I thought that's what I was doing, you know, for myself as well. So yeah, that's kind of.
So we've got this medical model background, and then you've discovered like all the energy healing, and I mean, I love Reiki and all of the kind of energy healing type stuff. How was it for you kind of making that transition from the medical background of things being very kind of fact figurey to the energy world that, let's be fair, for most of us that work in it, we're still a bit like, oh, okay, that was an interesting experience. How did you bridge that? How did you personally bridge that gap?
Okay, so yeah, you're right. When I came out of the stepped away from the medical side of things, and don't get me wrong, because we need the best of both worlds. We
Completely.
Also need, obviously, healthcare. You know, and there's so much more we can do now in helping people recover from certain illnesses where sometimes medication is needed, and sometimes
and Reiki now is being offered, isn't it, in some areas on the NHS? Like, it is more accepted and understood by the traditional medical stuff, but I know that, you know, many of us, many people still feel like, what? It's a bit what?
Yeah, and I mean, they offer, obviously they have their own kind of people that they can refer people to therapy. They sometimes refer them to complementary therapies as well. But like you say, yes, it is happening more and more. So this gap is really kind of overbridged now, and that's really what I wanted to achieve as well. So I'm still quite connected actually with people in healthcare as well, so that we do get the best of both worlds. You know, because it's you have to also, of course, look at the physical. Our physical body is as important as our energy and our emotional body, and it all needs to work in harmony. But often we see that if we have these physical symptoms, that they are actually manifested in the energy body, in our emotional kind of, that link is there between the physical and the emotional. And I think that's what a lot more people are starting to see as well.
For people who won't understand what you mean when you say energy body, can you try and explain that? I know that's a big question, but can you try and explain it like easily for people who may not have heard that kind of phrase before?
So I guess the way I see it is we have our subconscious and our conscious mind, I think our conscious mind is more about, you know, our mental processes, really how our thoughts and our beliefs, and our subconscious mind is actually our energy body. As I see it, it's actually our body, basically, because whatever we have ever experienced, heard, felt, seen, touched, smelt, you know, seen, it's all kind of stored somewhere. All of those experiences, good and bad, they are stored somewhere. And I feel that they are stored in our energy body. So this is where we have the feeling memory. So we have certain memories that we can, you know, talk about, we can think about and explain. Other things are seemingly unexplained because they're causing these aches and pains, these unexplained emotions. And that's these things that sit like as an electrical charge in our energy body. And that's to do with our chakra system, you know, our 7 main energy centers that we can work with. We have many more energy centers, but those, the main 7 ones are kind of the ones that we can easily access as well. You know, you have all these points on our meridians, our okay, I'm gonna make it too complicated.
I mean, it's fine because I know what you're talking about, but it's people can look it up if they want to.
It's our aura as well, so we can connect to the energies outside of us, to the energies within us. So that's kind of through our chakra system and through the aura. So
and I think that's it. It's like accepting that, because again, there's like science shows us these things, doesn't it? But it's not just like, we use the word woo here, and we use it as a positive, but I know some people use it as kind of a negative. So these things can be seen as woo and a bit kind of out there, but a lot of this stuff is now being proven by science. So it's so interesting, like how these things are all coming together for people to know that actually, like you say, we hold these things in our body, and our energy is impacted by our experience and our thought and all of this stuff, and it can be healed in a different way.
So what I found as well, you know, when I went to Scotland and I did the hill walking, and I just had my backpack and some big shoes, and I was like, you know, don't really want anything else, don't want to have anything to do with anyone else. I'm here with my friend, we're talking things through, you know, the wind through my hair, just kind of being with nature. And I guess that's what kind of helped me to really release some stuff, if you know what I mean. Like an animal, you know, if an animal has a traumatic experience, they kind of are startled, they are upset for a little bit, and then they shake it off. So it's like released through the body, you shake it off. And I thought, this is what I need, because I went into meditation as well, and I thought, I can't sit for half an hour, I need movement, I need to be creative, I need to find different ways of getting rid of this excess energy, this stuff that I'm not quite sure about, why it's causing me to feel this way. And I kind of then was introduced to chakra dance as well. I don't know if you've heard of chakra dance.
Well, I was particularly interested in that part of the work that you do, because it fits so beautifully with the things that I like. I've been doing a lot of kind of mindful movement, so I only know what I peeked on your socials, so please do tell me more.
So basically, once I started to really get to grips with, like, you know, working with energy, I did my Reiki, and then things just kind of, I felt a lot more aligned with that kind of work. So you feel a lot more happier in yourself, then opportunities just start to kind of come out of the woods, don't they? So there were all sorts of things coming, and then it's obviously to you to decide what you're gonna do, which direction you're gonna go in. But chakra dance was one of the things that was there quite early on, and I was so intrigued, and I thought, I need to find out more about this. And I did a discovery course, And I thought, yes, this is amazing. Still took me years to actually take on the training because it was quite expensive and I had to justify to be able to add this on to my services.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rabbit hole I went down once I saw it on yours. I was like, this kind of ticks a few boxes for me. This is where I'm looking at kind of being able to add into just my life. But it's all cosmetic,
and
isn't
I
it?
thought, so I thought this is a wonderful way for me to bring that kind of the meditation element together with gentle movement. So really the embodiment, releasing our kind of stagnant energies in a really gentle way. Because sometimes what I found as well, because I did some coaching and stuff for myself as well, and I was talking about things, and then you would relive this whole thing, and it was really traumatic. And I just felt like I'd been hit by a truck afterwards, and I was like, I just don't know what to do with myself now, And then, yes, you would work on yourself. Talking things through is great, but I believe that we also need to embody our experiences,
I completely agree with you. And I know you talk about embodied healing. So again, that's terminology that not everybody's going to know. So do you want to explain from your perspective what you mean by embodied healing and embodying?
Yeah, so the embodied healing is more about going past the mental processing alone. Past to just talking things over and over, but really kind of looking at what other things can I do to help me feel better? Because it's all about then being in the moment and doing things, what will help me right now? Instead of keep going back there, and yes, you're trying to get some clarification, but really the power is in the present moment, to quote a Louise Hay quote. The power is always in the present moment. What's happening right now, that's what you can work with. And that's what I found so intriguing. And that's why I thought this embodied healing, this is about looking, where do I feel it? Where does it sit?
Yeah.
And I guess it's about then finding a message, because your body has a message for you. It's constantly communicating with us. So actually we do know our answers. We just need to really open up to that. So go past that mental processing, come out of our heads, come into our bodies, because there's a lot of wisdom there. Because that's where we hold on to all of this stuff.
Yeah, our brain lies to us about all of these things, and we kind of attach all of this meaning to everything, and we tell ourselves stories about stuff. And I mean, my background is, I am a therapeutic counsellor. My background is talking therapy, but I've shifted how I work in a similar but different way to you. And it's that thing, isn't it? If we actually feel our emotion instead of thinking about what we think our emotion is or what the story we're telling ourselves, it's a completely different experience. It's a completely different energetic experience. And then using whatever thing, you can shift it in a different way, because I completely agree with you. Our body talks to us. Our symptoms communicate to us our needs, and it might not be that I need to stretch. It might be that I need to stop being in this toxic situation, or I need to voice my opinion, or I mean, this is how I approach it. It's so interesting.
I feel exactly the same way about that. And because the thing is, I was just getting really angry and frustrated because all of these symptoms, I just go away. Why is this happening to me? What is this? You get just angry. You're trying to analyze it and interpret it. But really, the answers are just not there in your head, right? Because you're trying to analyze, interpret. You've been conditioned to believe it must have to do with this. It must, because that's, we grew up in that way. Our parents just said, it's probably this, it's probably that. But, this is unique to you. So what's going on for you? And when you really then come out of your head and just find that stillness, that calm within you, that's where we can find the answers. So what's this shoulder pain actually trying to tell me? What does it mean? maybe that I'm taking on too much responsibilities, that I'm not setting healthy boundaries, that that your heart is hurt because you're not in a relationship where you feel your needs are being met. You can't express yourself, your throat chakra is blocked. It's just these kind of things that really, when you tap into these energies, that's when you can get into that. And to come back to chakra dance, that is a really lovely and gentle and joyful way of doing this. So it's not like all of a sudden it's like, some people have yes, emotional reactions, of course, when we dance up stuff, because when we move, we create more flow as well. So it's this exercise element to it that helps us to move our chakras and change our lives. Dance by dance, really. It's obviously not going to be a quick fix. I guess all of these things are never like a quick fix, and a lot of people are looking for a quick fix, aren't they?
But it's not about, for me, it's not about quick fixes. I mean, we can kind of we can solve things. Let me think how I want to word it. We can make change really quickly. We can shift things really quickly. I believe, we can impact our mindset, and there can be a moment where it's just like that. But often it's steps of work that get you to that, just like that moment. And the more you do it, the quicker the change then comes. And I think about my own story, there's stuff that has taken me years to kind of really get. But now when something happens, I'm a bit like, oh, okay, I get what's going on here. I can, notice it because it's become a practice. And it's the practice that makes the quick shift happen, is the bit that takes the time, isn't it? I don't even know if that's making sense. Like, it's with anything, like learning to drive. Once you can drive, you react and do things quickly, but it takes time to learn the skills that you need to be able to drive, to be a competent kind of reactive driver. Hopefully that helps explain what I'm saying.
No, I do get what you mean. It's like that that unconscious competence, the Hara window, or what's it called? That is how it works. It's a process, and I think life, it basically is just a journey, isn't it? It's just once you open up to taking more responsibility for your own health and well-being. And I think that's what's happening. That shift is happening. A lot more people are moving away from just kind of going to your doctor and getting some medication for your pain. People are now more looking to see what's actually going on here, and what is it to do with, and what can I maybe change myself. And this is why people come to the coaching as well. And I trained as a wellbeing coach over lockdown, so that was just another thing I wanted to add to my bow. And then I could work online with people as well, and that's working well. You can still get the same effect. You can still work with energies through Zoom, online as well. It still works from a distance, but the coaching element has really helped to kind of give people a bit of a framework to work with. So I'm focusing on the physical and the emotional mainly, and also on recovering from fatigue, because also in lockdown I went on to specialize as a fatigue recovery specialist, because I realized that's actually what happened to me when I was at these first stages, of burnout. I was actually, I didn't even realize then that it was burnout, but those were the first stages. And if I hadn't intercepted it, through, I could suppose, my inner knowing, because I, have an open mind and an open heart in that. So I did look for all of that self-help. But if you don't intercept that cycle of burnout and just push through and get many more symptoms, you can't relax anymore, you're feeling constantly exhausted, you're not happy in yourself, you get irritable bowel syndrome, you get all sorts of other aches and pains, and it's just, when that happens, they're all little red flags, aren't they?
Oh
And
yeah, I mean,
that's
I completely burnt out. I was practically bedridden. I've had to work really hard on recovering. That's
yeah,
why my business is all about self-care, because
yeah,
like you don't want people to experience what you've experienced. So if your journey, your knowledge, your learnings can help just one person not
yeah,
be in the same place that I was, like for me, I'm winning at life if I can support people in that way. And it is that, we've kind of gone down the road so we can go, oh hey, this is some of the signposts to look out for, and I can help you get back on a path to health, and to kind of,
exactly.
where you want to be going, as opposed to where you feel like you should be going, because society very much rewards. There's an expectation that we're all busy and we're all doing all stuff we don't want to do, and things that
Yeah,
we have to do to survive life, and doing things that actually fill us up and give us joy and nourish us and nurture
exactly.
us is seen almost as a luxury. And I think it needs voices like ours kind of going, no, this is like fundamental. These things you are required for life to allow you to do the stuff that you don't necessarily want to do but need to do. Like you need
Yeah,
to be the stuff that fills you up is the stuff that life's about, really.
yes. Yes, absolutely. And this is why, and when I realized I was going the burnout route, or well, I didn't realize it then, but I know now. But it's
Same. Looking back.
and I thought, yes, that's that phase one. There's these different phases to it as well. And I thought,
Mm,
oh my God, when I look back, I thought my mum actually, she was chronically exhausted. And she did go to the doctor, she went to the rheumatologist, and she got, she did get prescribed medication, but she didn't want to take it. She
mm,
was always in pain. She had probably had fibromyalgia as well.
mm,
When I think back, I know all these symptoms now. I know how it's linked to different things in life, and I can now see it.
mm.
But at the time, it wasn't diagnosed, and so she just kind of pushed through, and now I'm thinking, I just want to make sure that I help these people where you see this kind of pattern,
Mm.
and to help them to break through,
Yeah.
so that they don't end up being exhausted and in pain.
Yeah. So how do you help people? So people that are listening that kind of resonate with you and think, oh, yeah, this sounds like someone I want to get in touch with. Who do you help? How do you help them?
Okay, so I've kind of, yes, over lockdown again as well. I suppose I niched down because I realized this is my passion. I want to work with women who are going through these kind of similar things. So women who are feeling burnt out, soul searching, not exactly knowing, anxiously trying to find out what is it that I actually want. So helping them to find their soul purpose, really, helping them to get back in touch with self. And yeah, so the focus is really on the physical and the emotional, because of course our physical body gets depleted, doesn't it?
Mhm.
And if our physical body is depleted, we can't think straight, and we can't even begin to work on the emotional. So we do have to look at both. And so when people come onto a coaching program with myself and with the chrysalis effect, which is actually a recovery program. It's a 9-month program that people can get onto online, work at their own pace, very affordable, and
Mm.
alongside that they can receive the specialist coaching. And this proven recovery program is helping people to actually recover from this emotional burnout and fibromyalgia and ME, chronic fatigue syndrome.
Mm.
People coming out the other end.
Mm.
So the way that I work with people is more in that creative way. It's Reiki based as well. So I work a lot with energy, with tapping, EFT tapping,
Yeah.
as part of their program. And also I run workshops. So I have the chakra dance workshops, and I have also creative workshops where people can get more tap into the intuitive side as well.
Mm.
All about getting back in touch with ourselves, with our bodies, with what's really going on here. But yeah, within the team, we work closely with other specialists as well. So there's nutrition, there's bereavement, there's other kind of things that we can refer people to, so that they have this whole team available to them instead of having to be on a waiting list before they can be seen. So that's a wonderful kind of add-on. You have everything in one place. But yeah, for me, the way that I work with people is really to help them to harness their health. I can explain to them, with a nursing background that I have as well, you know, I can explain to them this domino effect that's happening in their body. You know, it's like one thing affects another, and it gets worse and worse if we don't intercept it, and our body gets so depleted, you know, that it becomes almost impossible to come back from it. Like yourself, you say you were bed bound, and then to come back from that's it's a journey, but it is possible.
Definitely. And it is like we've talked before, it's holistic, it's the whole thing. So it is looking at like your emotions, your body, your nutrition, the like everything. Like I've completely changed my life with my learning and applying it to myself as a client, and kind of have changed everything that I do. And when you're at that stage of like when you've got diagnosis, and for me, and I've shared this many times, I was told, this is your diagnosis, this is life now, accept it. Exactly. And it's like, oh, okay, all right, that's it. And if you don't know that there's other stuff, then of course you're going to just accept that, because a medical person who is a professional who we trust is telling you this is reality. But you know from your clients, I know from my clients and my own experience, your own experience, like this is not necessarily true. Like you can make difference to your life, but you need to make some changes to make it different.
Exactly. Yeah. So you refuse to accept the diagnosis, and you're going to do this external search and trying to look into all these things that you could possibly do. Then you end up with your internal search, you know, knowing that you can change things within, and all of this combined, is going to help you to you know, stop having these relapses and come out the other end. You'll have put self-care in place, you look at your own healthy boundaries, it's all this stuff, learning to say no, you know, it's all of this stuff that we all know about. we do
all know about it, but we're also told like we know it, but we're also told in some conditioning that you kind of can't have it, like because you need to do all of these things, and then like let's so there can be, it can be really conflicting. So it's very much, I love that there's so many people, so many women now sort of going, hey, we're not about this life anymore, let's make it different, and we're supporting other women to kind of, you know, walk that path as well and come on that journey with us and be able to make change, because it's when there's so much power in that community, and once we're seeing other people healing from these experiences, and we can take what works for us, like, you know, them, and because you know my journey, the stuff that helped. Say that again, sorry,
I said because we're all still unique, so what works for one may not work as well for another, so we need to look at different ways of approaching our own health. Yes, definitely.
And it's taking that power, isn't it? Just being like curious about what's going on for you, and being able to grab all these resources and be like, yes, I'm going to give that a go, I'm going to give that a go, I'm going to give that a go. And kind of for me, it's very much about being playful with it, and finding the joy in what you're doing. Absolutely. and it makes such a difference. I love like the dance and the stuff that you're talking about, and like the creativity. I think it really does make a difference to the people that we work with.
It really does. I mean, it helps us also to develop confidence. It can help you to be more kind of problem-solving attitude, you know, because you get more into your flow. You feel more aligned with where you want to be, where you want to go, you know. And I guess one of my mission is to get that awareness out there, like you say, if more people know about it, and that there is other options, other ways of healing and doing things, then that's what we need to put out there. And the shift, you can see that shift is happening, which is very exciting. You know, the NHS is also working together with these kind of programs and hoping to kind of integrate them so that people can be referred straight to these programs to help them recover. So it's exciting stuff. It's all happening. But yeah, it will take time.
Yeah, it does. And talking of time, it does feel like we probably are at, that was a good segue there. It probably does feel like we are at time, if not run over. So if this feels okay, we'll bring it to a close now. And I feel like you've probably said everything that you wanted to say, but is there anything else that you wanted to leave people with today? Because I feel like you just ended perfectly with what you wanted people to know, but just in case there's anything more you wanted to add.
Yeah, I suppose I could finish with a quote. It's a Rumi quote, and it says, "Stop searching here and there. The jewels are inside you."
Perfect. I love it, and I completely agree with you. I truly believe we all have our answers inside. We just might have forgotten how to listen to it. So
well, you don't know what you don't know, and this is where we come in to help people to kind of tap back into all of that wisdom and knowledge that we hold ourselves. So yeah,
perfect. Thank you so much for coming and speaking with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you to those that have listened. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I'll be back next week with a new guest. Until then, stay curious and be kind to yourself.